Stop it! Stop it! Don't hurt him! I'm sorry!
Hey everyone, my name is Locke Vincent and welcome to Gaming Alchemy, the show where I take a game and break it down into several other games to find what its influences are. This week, I'm going to be breaking down Bioshock Infinite, the latest in the series from Irrational Games. It has been in development for quite some time and with a couple of delays pushing it all the way back into March 2013. I'm very excited to see Bioshock taken from the dark corners of Rapture into the floating city of Columbia. While the setting and story are completely new, the game still retains some of the previous Bioshock gameplay hooks like superhuman powers, known as vigors instead of plasmids, and of course the first-person shooting. You play as Booker DeWitt, a Pinkerton agent who is a professional fixer sent to Columbia to rescue the young Elizabeth that has been trapped in the city for 15 years. From there, I'll leave it up to you as to explore further, and I'll get to the alchemizing part and take a look at the first game that I've broken it down into. One of the main features at the forefront of Bioshock Infinite is the Skyhook. I couldn't resist but break Bioshock down into another game that uses something very similar. What is the first game that comes to mind when I say grappling hook? For me, it was Bionic Commando for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Bionic Commando was one of the most unique and difficult games of my childhood. It brought a simple yet revolutionary idea to the table in which the main character could not jump. This was extremely jarring at first as it meant you had to change the way you played a platformer. We were all used to hopping around with Mario and busting up blocks, crushing Goombas, but Bionic Commando changed all that. The success for Rad Spencer, the main character in Bionic Commando, was dependent on your ability to use the bionic arm to traverse the level and dodge bullets, otherwise it was game over. I see the same emphasis on the Skyhook in Bioshock Infinite. The Skyhook serves as a multitude of purposes, and since Columbia is built upon a system of rails, the Skyhook is the most invaluable tool you will use in Bioshock Infinite. No matter how cool your vigors become, the Skyhook is what will allow you to survive. Similar to the basic function in Bionic Commando, it gives you mobility. With the Skyhook you can traverse across different platforms, maneuver around enemies, and escape out of some sticky situations. Bioshock Infinite gives you the freedom of movement with the Skyhook to make any encounter your own. It is going to emphasize verticality, something that we have not seen in the series yet, and something that I think first-person shooters have yet to do very well. Now, the simplicity of a 2D plane in Bionic Commando limited the amount of movement you had with the bionic arm. You could go up or forwards, that was it. Bioshock Infinite is obviously a 3D game, and this shift lends itself to many more opportunities for experimentation, with not only movement, but opens up a wealth of opportunities to make each combat situation their own. Combine the vigors that you will gain throughout the game with the flexibility of the Skyhook, and I can guarantee that everyone's time in Columbia will be unique. So Bionic Commando is the first game that Bioshock Infinite breaks down into. Let's switch gears and see what we can find in the next game.
Now the boy, had visited Quadrangle Manor on a few occasions. Each time was complete with a grand entrance from the brother, who was in fact a professor and inventor with a profound and soaring intellect.
Now before I get into the second game, you have to understand that Ken Levine, the creative director of Irrational Games, has a lengthy pedigree of games that you could easily slot into this second game breakdown. The obvious is System Shock, but I'll save that for when I break down the original Bioshock. I'll admit that I really wanted to break Bioshock Infinite down into something that shared the same theme of this Victorian moral code and American sensationalism, but I struggled to find a game that portrayed it so evidently. But I got thinking of another very interesting aspect of the game, and that's Elizabeth's ability to manipulate tears into other worlds and dimensions. There have been quite a few games that deal with windows in space and time, but no game accentuates it quite like Quantum Conundrum. Now, Quantum Conundrum is a first-person puzzle game from Kim Swift, one of the lead designers of Portal. So with that comes a mind-boggling amount of tools to play with throughout the game. Namely, the amount of actual dimensions that you can travel between. You've got the fluffy dimension, the heavy dimension, the slow-mo dimension, and finally the reverse gravity dimension. It's amazing to see all of these in action, notably when you begin to combine different dimensions to solve puzzles throughout the game. Now remember, in Bioshock Infinite, this is Elizabeth's power and not Booker's, so it's not up to you as to when you get to travel through time and space. However, it is definitely in your best interest to use these dimensions to your advantage, especially when it comes to a life or death situation. A large part of Elizabeth's character arc is her growing into her powers and learning how to use and control them, much like in Quantum Conundrum, where different dimensions are gradually introduced to you and you'll learn how to use them throughout the game. Elizabeth is able to do some amazing things, so make sure that you protect her because she's the one that's going to get you out of Columbia. You may be traveling to a different time period and changing the course of events, or simply grabbing a tool from a tear that you can use to help your current situation, like opening a door. Bioshock Infinite is doing some very interesting things with Elizabeth's powers, making it more than a simple escort mission that we all hate, and turning the game into a dimensional quest for survival.
I will stop him.
No. That is an oath you cannot keep. But promise me that if it comes to it, you will not let him take me back.
It won't come to that.
So that's the breakdown for Bioshock Infinite. We've got the bionic arm from Bionic Commando manifesting itself in the Skyhook, and then the different dimensions and the ability to manipulate them, which was done so well in Quantum Conundrum. So what would be that third ingredient to shake things up in Bioshock Infinite? I'd give it the Skies of Arcadia treatment and allow you to control your own airship. We saw how fun the naval battles were in Assassin's Creed 3, so it's time to take it to the skies. It would definitely be a shift in gameplay, but you could still go in and aim some cannons to keep with the first-person shooter style. Fly around Columbia and use your airship to destroy air pirates, and hey, you could even get some side quests out of it. Everyone loves side quests. All I'm saying is that the wide open skies have yet to be explored, and now's the time to set sail for the clouds. So that's it for this week's episode of Gaming Alchemy featuring Bioshock Infinite. I think everyone's going to love the bigger environments and the new ecosystem that Columbia brings. Like I mentioned, it's been delayed and there's no tacked on multiplayer, so you know that they've been polishing the hell out of this one. Get your skyhooks and dimensional rifts ready because I think we're all in a treat with Bioshock Infinite. If you like the show, please drop a comment below and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to check out GamingAlchemy.com because we have a ton of content coming out every day. If you have to get a hold of me, the best way is through Twitter, @LockVincent or @GamingAlchemy, or send me an email, gamingalchemy@gmail.com. I'm always eager to hear your own breakdowns, so let me know what you think Bioshock Infinite should be broken down into. If you have suggestions for a game or want to see something on the show, toss me a message and I'll do my best to get it alchemized. Once again, thanks for watching, and we will see you all next week.